Have you ever heard of an Adivasi Jallianwala Bagh? If not, you have come to the right place. We are going to talk about the Mangarh Massacre over here, who was Govind Guru, popularly known as Govind Guru, and what is the significance of this massacre which does not find its mention in any of our history books. The due respect that should be given, the due contributions, the due acknowledgement that should be given to those who have been massacred because of their asking for their rights. The Bhil community asked for their rights. Let's talk about it. Why not? So this particular segment will be devoted to that only. Moving ahead, let's talk about this particular segment through the help of points. These are the main points that we are going to talk about. Bhil Tribe, Govind Guru, who was the Mangarh Massacre, the Adivasi Jallianwala Bagh, and the legacy of it, plus the question. Moving ahead, let's first of all look at the background. Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi addresses at Mangarh 𝐏𝐤𝐿𝐬 𝐏𝐫𝐞𝐳 Program in Banswara, Rajasthan. On 17th of November 1913, 6 years before the actual Jallianwala Bagh. It all happened in such a manner that certain historians say that this was more brutal than the Jallianwala Bagh of 1919. So what is all this? Let's talk about that. Background, we have to know that as a part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, the tribal revolutionaries were acknowledged, they were given their due acknowledgement. Through the help of 15th November, which will be celebrated as Janjatiya Gaurav Divas in the respect for Birsa Munda. Birsa Munda was born on this day, and that is why this will be celebrated 15 November, which is also the foundation day of Jharkhand. Janjatiya Gaurav Divas will be celebrated. Apart from that, tribal museums have been set up across the country to show that which movements we know so less about, they have their proper acknowledgement, they have their proper display at such museums. In yet another step in this direction, the Prime Minister attended the Mangarh 𝐏𝐤𝐿𝐬 𝐏𝐫𝐞𝐳 at Mangarh Hill, Banswara, Rajasthan. Bhil freedom fighter Shri Govind Guru was revered over here. So everything we are going to talk about. Now, Mangarh Hill holds a very special place for Bhils of Rajasthan, Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh. The hillock, the Mangarh hillock, is situated at the Gujarat-Rajasthan border. So prelims fact this is, you have to remember it. Moving ahead, the Bhils are one of the largest tribal groups who are housed in Chhattisgarh, Gujarat, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh and Rajasthan. The word Bhil comes from the word Bilu. Bilu actually means bow. Okay, bow and arrow one, bow. So Bhils are excellent archers coupled with deep knowledge about their geography. They did very well in guerrilla warfare. Now they are generally farmers and agricultural laborers. The traditional medical specialists Budwa, the shaman, Huvarki, the traditional birth attendant, Vaidu, the herbalist, and Hadvaidu, the bone setter. These are the social criteria within the Bhil. They also are said to have male midwives as well, which is very progressive. Moving ahead, let's talk about their dress and gear. As you can see, a Bhil clad in the finest for the Toranmal festival. Boys and girls gather in large number during such festivals, and here they are provided the opportunity to select their own partners, which is very progressive as compared to other sections of the so-called high privileged society. Then Bhil women wear traditional saris while men are dressed in long frocks and pajamas. Heavy ornaments made of silver, brass along with rosaries of bead and silver coins and earrings are also adorned by them. Moving ahead, let's talk about Govind Guru. And his actual name was Govind Giri, but because he was so revered as a social reformer within the Bhil community, he was also known as Govind Guru. He was born in 1874 in Banjara family of Dungarpur, Rajasthan. And he came from a family which served as a bonded labor. he was also a bonded labor. The socio-economic setup and abuse of alcohol were certain things that he was very mindful of. Understand one thing. Due to the famine of 1899-1900, which claimed the lives of 6 lakh, these are the official figures, we do not know what the unofficial numbers are, 6 lakh Bhil community members died. In order to keep themselves afloat, they resorted to banditry. And because of that, because of their marginalization, they also, you can say, were doing alcohol abuse, substance abuse. Also, they were pretty barbaric in terms of how they lived before you can say, before the famine. So, Govind Guru was not happy with this. He said that in order to uplift ourselves, we have to ensure that we become vegetarians. This was one of his things. Second, we should not consume alcohol. And he genuinely wanted to uplift the socio-economic structure of the Bhils. And that is why he started the Bhagat movement in the year 1908. Alright. When he saw that our bonded laborers, they are not doing very well, they are not getting paid accordingly, because he was a bonded laborer in Santrampur, Govind Guru. He asked the Bhil community to stand up for their rights, to stand up for what is right, and they were not getting their due wages as bonded laborers. Bonded labor is in itself such a degrading job, and still they were not getting paid. So that is why Bhagat movement was started, and Dhuni, which was a sacrificial fire. It wasn't an actual sacrifice, but a sacrificial fire was started by Govind Guru, which irked the royals of Santrampur, Dungarpur and Banswara. So what happened that the royals were not happy with how awakened the Bhils were becoming, because this would strike on their belly, the belly of the royals. So that was the starting of all of it. Moving ahead, if we have first to talk about 67th BPSC mains crash course, mode is live online. Drishti learning app if you have qualified for prelims, or even if you just want to know how crash course works for betterment. It will start from 4th of November. It will be provided via the Drishti learning app, which is available on Play Store. 200 plus hours of classes you will be provided. 2 classes per day for 6 days a week, and the validity is up to 1 year. You can watch any number of classes, any number of times, unlimited viewership. Alright. And 4th November is there. The numbers are given over here. You can call on these numbers. Let me show you the numbers clearly. These numbers are given over here. You can call on these numbers to know more about it. Moving ahead, let's talk about the massacre. This map shows us the Dungarpur, Banswara region. Basically, where this was the area where the most active Bhils were with respect to their wages. So, R.E. Hamilton, who was the British political representative in these regions, they deployed the combined forces of British, Santrampur, Dungarpur and Banswara, and a detachment of Mewar force to started moving towards Mangarh. Here, the Mangarh Hill was the major place where Bhil tribes, more than 1 lakh Bhils, gathered in order to, acknowledge Govind Guru as their, first of all, Guru, and secondly, basically it was very politically awakened movement for them, the Bhils. This was a political sensitization, although they were not into politics, but this region showed that they were becoming politically active. So princely states of Santrampur, Banswara, Dungarpur, they were scared that if they become politically sensitive, what will happen to us? So how did they suppress it, the British? They took machine guns and cannons which were loaded on donkeys and mules, and this was commanded by the Major S. Bailey and Captain E. Stoyle. Remember this. This entire detachment was commanded by them. On 17th November 1930, the biggest massacre took place, in which at least 1,000 to 1,500 Bhils were killed. Again, official figures, we do not know what the unofficial numbers were. British Indian Army fired indiscriminately on Bhil protesters. It said 1,500 people died, although these are the official figures, but who knows what happened. After all this took place, Govind Guru was captured, tried and sentenced to life imprisonment. But because he had good behavior during his term, he was released from Hyderabad jail in 1919. But he was not allowed to go to Santrampur, Dungarpur, Banswara, where he had a lot of followers. He settled down in Kamboi near Limbadi in Gujarat and died in 1931. Now we talk about the legacy of it. The memory of this massacre is etched into the memories of course, the Bhils. They say it was much more brutal than Jallianwala Bagh. If something is not acknowledged by our historians, does not mean that it never happened. Since 1952, an annual fair has been instituted in Mangarh to devote, this was you can say a devotion to Govind Guru and the followers. The Govind Guru University was established in Godhra, Gujarat in 2015. And National Monuments Authority has called for the Mangarh Hilltop in Rajasthan to be designated as a national monument to at least show what importance this holds for us. The Bhils are so awakened and they trace their history to Mangarh massacre so much that they also want a Bhil Pradesh. We have talked about the Bhil Pradesh. I will put the link in the description box for you. Go and watch it. Now the question, who among the following was the leader of the movement which led to a massacre also known as the Adivasi Jallianwala Bagh? Govind Guru, Birsa Munda, Siddho, 𝐶𝐢 𝐃𝐲, CM. Okay. So answer it correctly. I will take your names in the next segment.